everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue our winter mini-series all about holidays to celebrate around the time of December. So last week we talked about different books that you could read for Hanukkah. This week I'm going to be sharing my favorite Christmas picture books. And then stay tuned for next week because we'll be talking about books to read aloud for Kwanzaa. Now, I had planned to get cozied up next to the Christmas tree for this video, but it is super dark at my house. It is pouring rain out today, so I needed some more extra light, so this will have to do for now. And if you stay till the end of this video, I'm gonna share with you what we do in our house to make Christmas books a little extra special. And I think it's something you could do with your own kids or even do in the classroom. And don't worry, it's pretty easy and it has nothing to do with wrapping paper. Now, let me go gather up all those books. My kids have them spread out all over the house. And once I grab all those Christmas books, meet me back here and we will talk about them. Christmas books. Now, in our house, we have a lot more books than this, and there are so many Christmas books to choose from, but I've tried really hard to narrow it down to my really true favorite ones to read aloud. This first one is called Santa in the City, and this is such a sweet book about a young girl who lives in the city, and she's really nervous that Santa's not going to be able to come to her house. She lives in an apartment and she doesn't have a chimney, so how is he gonna come in? And there's no parking spots left on her block to have a spot for the sleigh or even all those reindeer that Santa has. But with the help of her family, her community, and even Santa himself, she discovers that the Christmas spirit is alive and well in her city. And I love to read this one aloud with my own kids because we live out in the country. I know I've talked about that before. And so it's interesting for them to see a different perspective and see that that Christmas spirit is alive and well no matter where you live. And I should have mentioned this before, but a lot of these books really have to do with that Christmas spirit and spending time with family and those that you love. So that's really the focus on many of the books that I picked out to share with you today. This next book has quickly become one of my absolute favorite Christmas books. This one is called Dasher, and first of all, the illustrations in this book are beautiful. But in this story, Dasher is part of a circus. She is a reindeer with her family that travels around the country, and the person that runs the circus is not very kind to them. She does love meeting all of the kids and the families, and when they feed her her favorite food, carrots. But she knows that there's more out there, and her mom tells her to look for the North Star. So one day she escapes and she travels far and wide and just can't find that North Star, but she stumbles across Santa Claus, and he asks for her help in delivering the toys. And once they return home to the North Pole, she finally finds that North Star, and this story has a beautiful, happy ending. Another great Christmas read aloud to add to your collection. And speaking of wonderful illustrations, this next book I love for the illustrations and the images that are in the book. The story, the words aren't my favorite, but I really love the way that the pictures are drawn. And it's really neat because if you go through, you'll notice that there are cutouts that go from page to page. Most of the book is in black and white, and it just has these minor splashes of red as well. But this one is called The Little Reindeer, and in this story, the young girl goes out into the woods in the middle of the night when she hears a jingling sound, and she finds a reindeer, and he takes her on a magical ride. And it reminds me of the movie or the book The Snowman, how it's almost wordless and you get more out of the images than you do from the words. And it's just a magical time that they have in those few moments together, and just makes it feel so special at this time of year. The next book that I have is another Matt Tavares book, and I don't know what rock I've been hiding under, but this is an amazing book, and I'd heard about it, but just last year was the first time that I'd actually read it. This one is called Red and Lulu, and I really like this one because it's about the New York City Christmas tree that is in Rockefeller Center, and I always look forward to seeing the lighting of the Christmas tree every year. I feel like that's the true start of Christmas when they light that up in New York City and this holiday season has officially started. I'm one of those people that doesn't get ready for Christmas until after Thanksgiving, if you can tell, but those of you that get ready before, that's awesome too. And you may recognize this book from my video all about books about New York City, and I will leave that link down below, but I'll go over it again if you missed that. This one is about two birds that live in a tree together out in the country, well, in the suburbs, I guess I would say, not in the middle of the city. But then one day, Red and Lulu are separated as the just giant tree is cut down, and we find out that it's being brought to New York City to be in the middle of Rockefeller Center and to be that special tree. And after days of searching, Red and Lulu are finally reunited and they decide to make their home in this beautiful city. Another magical story to share at Christmas time. This next one is a fun one. This is called I Got the Christmas Spirit. And in this book, the young girl talks all about what the Christmas spirit means to her in very, very simple terms. She talks about what she sees and what she hears and what she smells during the Christmas spirit time, during the holiday season. She hears the bells ringing in the city. She hears people caroling. She smells wonderful food being cooked. She shivers in the chilly air. But another great book to go along with having that Christmas spirit, having that holiday spirit, and again, this is another one that takes place in the city and really makes the magic of the season come alive. The next book I have is a brand new book, and this is a character that you may be very familiar with. It is definitely a favorite in our house. This one is called A Very Mercy Christmas, and it is part of the Mercy Watson series. This one is a picture book. In this story, Stella Endicott, the young girl that lives in their neighborhood, really wants to go Christmas caroling. She goes to all of the different characters that we know from the books. She goes to all their houses. She goes to Mercy's house, she goes to Eugenia Lincoln's house, and we meet all the characters. She tries to get them all to go caroling with her because she's so excited about the holiday season, but except for Mercy, nobody wants to go caroling with her. They're all too busy. And she wonders if just she and Mercy can carol together. And then at the end, everybody comes out and they all join together. And again, that magic of the season, of being together, of celebrating the spirit of Christmas, all comes together at the end of this story. Definitely a read aloud if your students are fans of Mercy Watson. And my very favorite Christmas read aloud is one that my kids and I always save for Christmas Eve, and it is a very popular one. You've probably heard of it, The Polar Express. But if not, in this story, a young boy is awoken in the middle of the night by the sound of a train. He goes outside and they call him aboard the train, and he takes this magical ride all the way to the North Pole. And there, when he gets there, he sees Santa Claus and all of the elves, hundreds and hundreds of elves, and they're all getting ready for Christmas Eve. And Santa calls the young boy up to receive the first gift of Christmas. Now this boy can ask for anything that he wants, but he chooses something very, very special that he could get nowhere else. He asks for a bell from one of the reindeer, from their harness, and he gives it to the young boy. He puts it in his pocket and they go home, but he realizes there was a hole in his pocket and the bell fell out. He's so upset, so disappointed. But then on Christmas morning, he receives the bell under the tree, and his parents can't hear the bell. They think it's broken, but he and his sister can hear it. He realized that only the people who truly believe in the magic of Christmas can hear the bell. And I don't know, this book just brings alive the spirit of the season for me and makes it feel really special. So this is a wonderful read aloud for Christmas. Now, I want to share one more book with you, and I talked briefly about it last week in the Hanukkah Read Alouds video, and this one is not specific to a holiday, but I think it's a great one to share with your students, especially around this time of year, but it can be used any time of the year. This one is called Our Favorite Day of the Year, and in this story, there's a teacher who asks her students to each talk about their favorite day of the year, whether it's a special holiday or just a day that they think is important to them, important to their family or their friends, and they share why it's important and how their family or their friends or the community celebrates that holiday. And it's so special because each child has a different, unique holiday that they want to share with the class, and each student gets to learn more about not only each other, but about these holidays as well that maybe their family doesn't celebrate. I think this is a great way to honor all of our students and honor all of the things that they celebrate, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah, whether it's Kwanzaa or other holidays throughout the year. What days are special to them? So to help you share this with your class, I have a free interactive read aloud to go along with it, and you can download that in the description box down below. And you can use this book as a read aloud in your class, and you can do the lesson with them and give your students the chance to talk about what their favorite holiday is, what their favorite day of the year is. It's a great way to learn about each other and learn about new holidays as well. So I hope that you enjoyed these books, and I would love to know what your favorite Christmas read aloud is. Leave a comment down below telling us so that we can all add to our collections. Okay, so before we go, I promised that I would share with you how we make these Christmas books extra special in our house. Now, I don't keep the Christmas books out all year round. I only get them out in December, which makes them extra special for my own kids. And we only pull out one book a night. And I know some people wrap the books, but to be honest, I don't have time to do all that extra wrapping. So what we do is we have a special box. And each night I put a book in the box and my kids pull it out and we read it together as a family before bed. Now, let me show you what that box looks like. So at the end of the hallway, we have this special little box. I believe I got it from Home Goods, but it was years ago. But my kids open the box every night, and inside is a book, and they pull it out. Then, after we read it together as a family, it goes in a special basket right near the tree, and my kids, I was gonna say my students, and my kids get to read them all throughout the month of December before we put them away with the holiday decorations. So here's that special little basket, and inside are all the books that we've pulled out so far this season. You can see that there's a collection, a wide variety of books in here. But I think this would be a neat idea for you to do in your classroom, whether at the holiday times or anytime throughout the year. Having that special box makes it even more exciting as you pull out a read aloud for your students that you're going to share with them that day. So just a neat idea that you could try out in your classroom when reading aloud books with your kids. And make sure you stay tuned for next week's video where I will be sharing books all about Kwanzaa. And that will be the end of our Winter Holidays mini-series before we jump into the new year. Have a great week.